Alright, this is Joe B, French Muccutcheon, or Muccutcheon Part 2, with the diagram displayed here. You see the French Muccutcheon. That's when the French classical becomes a Muccutcheon after F8, B4. This is the French classical. It's not the Winnower. As far as I'm concerned, the Winnower isn't really the Winnower, because the word Winnower means separating the men from the boys. And in reality, the Muccutcheon separates the men from the boys here. And then you got this right here, Bishop B4. That's when it becomes a Muccutcheon after the classical, AF6. And then it becomes a Muccutcheon proper after the funny thing happens in the center. And then on the king side, which is E5 and H6. So I'm just going to go over this one little set of principles right here is when they actually trade that. So now we have the bishop pair, and recently just beat like some girl who was like 1900 in the Marshall Chess Club, and she took there and then I took. I ended up winning the game. Some people just, when they see you enter the Muccutcheon proper and you got this funny thing happen when the knights threatened and the bishops threatened, players look like that. They say, I don't know what the fuck's going on. But you see what the fun is going on here. Is that eventually the queen to f6, and black's all right here. So the queen's going to come to f6 eventually. And if that move isn't played, then black doesn't have any game at all. So you got to play queen f6 eventually. After a3, it's actually not best to actually keep the bishop pair. So trade the bishop pair. And the point of my strategy is black can actually castle safely on the queen side in these variations. And white doesn't have anywhere to go. And so we'll be leading in the king safety category. So here I just want to say at the end of the video I'll go over bishop b5 here, but I don't know who in their right mind would play this, but actually a lot of people do play it, so I don't know who's in their right mind. And so here, I mean, queen d3, that's just what somebody played against me. You don't need to play this. And it's not good to, I'm just going over a little line because actually ended up being a really good move. But it's not good to take here with the rook, because then queen g3, and after queen g3 the pawn is threatened, so we don't want to drop the pawn, therefore we won't want to allow that. So after that you always, I mean 9 times out of 10 I'll say you take the g pawn when you're reclaiming that field of yours. You take queen takes g4. There, you don't play rook takes, you play queen takes g, and yeah, we still want a castle and everything on the queen side eventually, but we can't develop the bishop right now because the rook's going to win the pawn. And if they play g3 here, then we can play f5, and a computer would win this position as white, but against people it's really hard. It's really, really hard because they don't really have an attack on the queen side. They have a fake attack, so we can play b6 and fianchetto and everything in castle. They have a fake attack, and it's going to be a fun game because they don't have anywhere to put their king. So I don't know what moves besides h4 are worth considering. The only one worth considering is h4, and then just push past because, you know, we're going for this trick. We're trying to just have time to play b6, bishop b7, and castle queenside and just show them that they can't really get an attack up on the queen side, and then they're really the ones with no home. So they're the one looking for a home, but we already have a home, and that's on the queen side. So that's our strategy here. And again, I mean, it's an advantage for white this game, but the chances are actually better, when humans play. If you know anything about human nature, is that everyone sins. So they're going to make a mistake, and it's easier for black to play this with mistakes on both sides because of the king safety principle, and our king is going to be safer. So that's kind of the thing here. And I mean, the best player will move their knight here, and then we play b6, and then they go to f4, and then you got to take some time and kind of see what's happening. There's a bunch of different ways to play here, but really I would recommend just going like this and sacrificing this pawn. That doesn't really work. So c8 d7 is recommended. Oh, okay. So so c8 d7 is the right move. Sorry, that's not what I meant. You get knight f4 on move 15, and then you don't fianchetto. You move here. They're not attacking the c pawn. So if they block castling, then recommending just moving here, and white has 0.7 advantage, but I recommend this, and eventually you can move your rook over to d8 or e8 based on their moves, and once they play a weak move, we have a safer king, and I doubt even they would play that. They'll probably play this, and then see castle. If you look at the actual computer analysis here, it flipped, and black's the one with the advantage, and they're actually recommending castling for white, but black's safe for king position here, so black has a better game for humans, which is good. And the only way that if they do this, then you could do this on move 11. So, this is a game too. The computer recommends castling, and people do play like this. I don't know why, but you can see now we got the advantage a little easier, and for humans versus humans, our position is going to be a lot easier. I think they did this to get in there, and then you just do the rook lift. There's no dark squared bishop attacking the rook, so that's what we go for, and then I doubt they're going to castle or whatever, and we're going to reclaim the field on g7, so we take our turf back. It's even in material, and once that's taken back and reclaimed, we have a safer king position. And in a human over the board, which is what we play over the board, we're going to have an easier time of it. So that's Muccutcheon number 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.